Something is occurring to you gradually, softly, and without your knowledge. You glance in the mirror one morning and notice that your face is softer and your eyes are brighter. The lines you used to worry about, they're not gone, but they don't feel as heavy. You're laughing more freely now. You talk calmly, with presence, and without attempting. You are beginning to appear younger. However, this is not about skincare, drinking more water, or having better sleep. This is something distinct and deeper. If you choose one, the aging process does not always follow the usual norms. That's because your body was never simply physical. It was a transporter of energy and awareness. And the minute you align with that higher purpose, when your soul quits opposing its own power, your body responds. You cease gleaming without makeup. You feel lighter without losing weight. People start guessing your age incorrectly, not once, but repeatedly. Maybe you've noticed it too. Something is changing in the way you hold yourself and how others see you. But here is the weird reality. Nobody informs you before you know you've woken up. Your body already knows. And if you are genuinely one of the chosen, these indications will begin to manifest in ways that you cannot fake or explain. Let we begin. Something modest but strong begins to happen in the mornings. You get out of bed, expecting your face to be fatigued or want, but instead it is soft. Your eyes are clear, your jaw seems relaxed, and your reflection no longer carries the same stress as it once did. What has changed? You did not change your pillow. You did not sleep any extra hours. In fact, some nights you hardly sleep at all, but you're still waking up late. This is what happens when your energy body starts purging at night, not just to process stress, but also to dissolve emotional residue that has been building up for years. Chosen ones do not only slumber. They heal silently. They obtain downloads. And frequently, the essential job is done between dimensions while the conscious mind is distracted. This is why you may feel like you've been somewhere else while sleeping. And when you return, even if you only slept for a short time, you are a bit more yourself. And it shows in your complexion, tone, and presence. It is the face of alignment, and it frequently appears before your consciousness does. Have you ever observed how people who have been through a painful experience age swiftly, as if their faces recall every burden? Now, invert that when a selected one awakens. Their face does not merely appear healthier. It begins distributing character roles. The people pleaser, the overachiever, the safeguarded version, the injured kid, because you are no longer using masks. The pressure around your eyes, lips, and forehead gradually dissipates. Your features get rounder and softer, not just cosmetically, but also in terms of frequency. This is not about affection or symmetry. It's about the truth. When you cease preparing for life, your face muscles react to emotional energy. When you cease living from your full potential, your face becomes serene, and serenity always seems youthful. You may start seeing images of yourself and thinking, I look different, but I don't know why. That's because your spirit has finally moved forward and your body is allowing it to lead. It begins as a compliment. You shrug it off, but it occurs again and again. Friends, coworkers, and strangers. They keep telling you that you look radiant, invigorated, and different. But here's the bit that gives you pause. You have not changed anything. No new diet or habit. You aren't going to the gym. You aren't trying. But nevertheless, something is functioning. This is external indication of an interior transformation as a chosen one begins to align with their mission. The energy field opens, emotional armor begins to disintegrate, and the physical body, particularly the face and posture, radiates that lightness outward. People don't always know what it is, but they feel it. You have less tension. You move more elegantly. Your love emanates from a genuine place today. All of this changes how people see your age because your vitality is no longer limited by time. You don't simply appear younger. You feel lighter. Others are picking up on that signal. Even if you aren't, there's a shift in the way you engage with your surroundings. And it begins with light. At first, it is subtle. You feel compelled to open the curtains more frequently. You find yourself walking outside without a purpose. No errands, no phone, and no destination. Just a profound, indescribable longing to be in the sun. And when you do, something extraordinary occurs. Your body no longer resists the light. It receives it. Your skin, which was previously dull, reactive, or uneven, now responds differently. Not overnight, but gradually. The light becomes natural. You appear to be full of energy. The texture reduces dryness. You're feeling warmer, not only physically, but energetically. This is not about tanning. It is not about achieving a sun-kissed appearance. It is about cellular memory, waking awake. You see, when you awaken spiritually, your body no longer perceives the environment as threatening. As a result, it no longer braces against natural elements. The sun is no longer viewed as harsh. It's perceived as nutrition. Your skin displays this alteration in real time. You may also notice that your overall relationship with nature begins to shift. You desire fresh air, breeze, and the open sky. You no longer want to be restricted by walls, ceilings, or even heavy clothing. Your body begins to grasp for the natural environment, just like a plant yearning for light. And achieving that openness results in a shine that no serum can match. People will notice. They may respond. You appear to have been on vacation, but this is not a trip. It is a transition. You aren't merely bathing in the sunlight. You're in harmony. You may not realize it at first, but your body is moving differently now. You stand without slouching, not because you're pushing a position, but because your spine feels aligned. You stroll without hurrying your hands. Don't fidget too much. Your neck has less stress. Even turning your head or tilting your shoulders seems more fluid and linked. This is one of the most overlooked indicators of spiritual awakening. Your body begins to move in sync with your energy, and the movement becomes elegant before you awaken. Most of us move from our minds. We rush. We brace, which shrinks. We stiffen, particularly under stress. Our bodies store years of stress in the joints, hips, and minor habits that we don't even notice. That stress gradually shapes us. It is what causes people to appear to be older than they are, not because of wrinkles, but due to stiffness. However, when you begin to awaken, your neural system no longer runs in survival mode. Your body relaxes into itself, and you cease moving as if you were attempting to survive. You stop moving as if you're safe. This does not imply you float around like a monk. It simply implies that your moves feel intentional, effortless, quietly powerful. You may see others turning to look at you, not because of what you're wearing, but because of how relaxed you appear. Ease is both alluring and fresh. Grace is not about performance. It is about presence. And when your movements are based on alignment rather than worry, they leave an impact that words cannot describe, only felt. This is why some people feel being around you is relaxing. This is not something you're doing. It's how you eventually quit battling with yourself. You've undoubtedly noticed the shift, but didn't give it much attention. Your life has altered. It used to be reactive. A brief giggle relieves tension. A courteous grin. A chuckle that matches the setting. But suddenly something unusual is happening. Your laughter erupts abruptly and feels strange. It feels genuine, as if it is originating from somewhere much deeper than your head. There is no forced grin, no smile to maintain the peace. Instead, your laughing seems like a release or a sound. Your spirit creates when it realizes it is safe again. And it's not just emotional. It is biological. You aren't simply laughing. You are releasing years of strain. You didn't realize your face carried the muscles surrounding your lips. Begin to reset. The corners of your eyes soften, as does your jaw. Unclench. Yes, your entire face structure begins to alter. Not drastically, but significantly, since genuine laughing is more than just a performance. It glows. People perceive it. But here is the deeper reality. This is not about being cheery all of the time. It is about joy that is unaffected by circumstances. It's a lighter frequency that flows through you when your soul quits battling, your spirit stops concealing, and joy is genuine. It does not merely affect your emotions. It rewires your physiology. You'll find yourself giggling in the most regular situations, pouring tea and gazing at the sky. Listen to your own opinions. Not because anything is hilarious, but because something inside you has finally felt free. That type of delight is timeless, and it's why your face starts to sparkle in ways you've never seen before, because you're no longer wearing forced emotions. You're carrying the truth, and laughter is how you let out. There's a subtle shift in how you talk about time that happens without your awareness. Stop stating things like, "I'm too old for this," or "It's too late now." Those sentences simply slip away, not because you're trying to seem optimistic, but because they just cease feeling genuine. You stop worrying about how old you appear or what stage of life you should be in. You don't care about the time scale that society attempts to impose. You're not chasing goals. You're trying to achieve alignment. And that movement, however undetectable, alters everything. Because most people don't realize this. Age is not simply a number. It is a frequency. Most individuals age rapidly because they carry time as a weight. They refer to it as something to compete against, something to regret, and something that determines their value. But you're letting go of that frequency. You're entering a state of timelessness, and the energy change is noticeable. People cease referring to you based on your age. They comment about your vibe and resemblance. They do not inquire how old you are. They want to know what you're doing to glow like that. But the fact is that you are doing nothing on the outside. You're just not carrying time on the inside anymore. This is not about denial. It's not about pretending to be youthful. It's about shedding the weight of aging stories that don't belong to you. You stop following the calendar. You start live based on how something feels. And that liberation, that break from age talk, sends a tremendous message to your body. You're safe to remain open, curious, and lively. And when your body believes it's listening, this one is not loud. It doesn't come as an insight or epiphany. It comes in slowly, like a memory you didn't realize you missed. One day, you find yourself singing a tune you enjoyed as a youngster. Another day, you laugh heartily, and that sounds like your younger self. You go past the store and are pulled to something fun, soft, and unique to you, but not the current style. You are the genuine you. Before the masks, there is the pressure and the roles you had to play in order to be accepted. This is the most effective type of age reversal. Not on your face, but rather in your frequency. When a chosen one experiences enlightenment, they do not just evolve. They return to the curiosity that has been suppressed, the softness that was hidden, the delight that has been forgotten. And when each element of your former self is recovered, your body begins to breathe differently. Your stance softens. Your voice becomes lighter. You move with more faith. You do not act like a youngster. You exemplify childish wonder. You stop performing for affirmation and begin participating for connection. And with each returning component of your truth, your physical form aligns with the energy of who you were intended to be, rather than the identity you were compelled to become. People will comment, "You look so much more like yourself lately," and they won't understand what they mean. But you'll feel it, because you'll begin to recognize your own face again. The one that existed before life became louder. And that recognition is what youth truly is. The presence of oneself rather than the absence of wrinkles. Returning home, piece by piece. So, if you've seen these signals in your life, if your reflection seems softer, your presence feels clearer, and your will feels deeper, you're not aging in reverse. You're merely returning home to yourself. You're not pursuing youth. You are becoming timeless. And if this resonates with you, if you finally feel seen, please subscribe. Because on this channel, we deconstruct every layer of your awakening, from the symptoms that perplex you to the moments that changed you. You were never supposed to grow old while carrying the burden of who you needed to be. You were supposed to rise, shine, and remember who you always were. Subscribe today to The Bloom and remember every week,